Good morning and welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I'm Worship Associate Sue Brinkmeyer, and I'm joined today by Worship Associates Xina Kingshill and Sandy Atkins. Our minister, the Reverend Dana Worsnop, will not be here in person today, but we will be hearing her homily on the magic of technology today. We had invited our youth and children to join us here in the sanctuary today, but I don't see anybody out there under 18. Oh, we have one! Yay! Yes! Welcome back. This is the first time that we have extended that invitation in 2.5 years. So that explains why we have our rug on the floor and why we have planned an interactive story hour, expecting to have 4 children to help us, or 4 young folks to help us. So what that means is when we get to the story, you're all going to remember that child inside of you, and some of you will volunteer to be part of our interaction. It's so good to be together. We welcome those of you here in the sanctuary. We welcome those of you joining us from home via Zoom or YouTube. And our theme for this month, fittingly, is belonging. And today, in our water communion, our annual welcoming back of the church year, coming together symbolically in this water communion, we acknowledge that we belong to each other. We acknowledge that we belong to the water. We belong to the earth, too, to that land along with that water that sustains us. Long before our ancestors, the ancestors of most of us, arrived here on this land, the Chumash peoples belonged to this land. We acknowledge this day that we belong to the land and the waters, and we honor all of their people. Announcements for today. Always, I want to remind you to read UUCV this week, where you can find about all the exciting things going on in the church, or to come a few minutes early and see the announcements on screen. Today, I want to especially let you know that we have that upcoming church auction, our major fundraiser of the year, and that today, lovely Sandy will be back in Berg Hall with a table set up to help you fill out the forms for whatever it is that you want to donate to that church auction, and then she'll do the technological putting it into the forms. If that helps you give so much more, that is great. So, as we gather, bring with you what is yours: a burdened heart, a joyous song, a wearied spirit, a seeking mind. Bring the gift of yourself to the altar and to this group. It is an honorable gift. Let us enter sacred space.
Good morning. I'm Worship Associate Sandy Atkins. Happy Grandparents' Day. We're wishing you a beautiful Sunday here in the sanctuary or wherever you may be. We invite those who are Zooming or streaming into the service, if you're not walking like I often am when I'm Zooming, light a chalice or a candle at home as Sue lights the chalice of our free faith here in the sanctuary. Our call to worship today comes from Gregory Pelly, called Thirsty. And so we gather from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. May all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here may we be filled so that we may pour ourselves out into the world. Come, let's together.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Carolyn Bjerke, the music director, and I'd like to welcome you all here in the sanctuary and online. Our opening hymn is Blue Boat Home, and I'd like to invite you all to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known, the wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, cast the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known, the wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
So, as you see, it is time for the child in all of us, and I see we have at least 2 young ones below 18. If you're willing, would you come up and join us on the rug? We hope you will. We've laid it out especially for any who were willing to come today, and any parents who want to come along and help. We're going to need at least that many. Yay! Thank you. Welcome back. Since you're here, can we ask you just to say your names, because people haven't seen you maybe in a long time.
Robbie,
Yay.
Gina,
All right.
Danica,
Mark.
Yay, thank you. Okay, so actually you're going to sit on the rug in a wee bit, but we're going to involve you in this story, all 4 of you. Teamwork. Have you ever been a member of a team or a family project, but while you were doing it, you maybe got so focused on yourself that you lost track of the team and the oneness of everybody and the real, no I in the word team, all that, right? So that's kind of what our story's about. It's about rivers, and it's called Rivers, and it's by a minister named Reverend Buis. And we're going to ask you guys to act out the two rivers. So rivers kind of ripple as they make their way to the sea, right? So we have these two cloths, and whoop, that one's really wrapped around. Can you help me? We have tried, whoop, under chairs, we have tried to make two ends of that, which you guys could hold. It's going to look like a gorgeous river. And there's the other one, full of fish. Delightful, delightful. So, yay, as you find your ends ready to make it ripple, woohoo! And Sandy and Xina are going to help us tell this story. We're going to sit down here and tell this story, and you're going to ripple, and at some point I'll be asking your rivers to make their way over here and become waterfalls coming down into the sea. So here we are. Once upon a time, there were two rivers flowing side by side. Both, thank you so much, Xina and Robbie, both rivers like to argue about who was the best. Oh my goodness.
Okay, the water in my river is better than the water in your river.
No, the water in my river is better than the water in your river.
Sadly, the two rivers would flow along all day, arguing about which river was the best. Both were quite sure they were the greatest.
Doesn't my water make a joyful sound as it runs over the smooth, polished pebbles on my bottom? And look at the way the sun reflects off the ripples and eddies that form around the granite boulders at my edge. These things are so beautiful. Surely I am the best river.
Ah, but look at all the fish that swim in my cool, clear water. I know who's number two. And have you heard the frogs singing at night? They live in the reeds and lilies that grow at my banks. I am home to so many wonderful creatures. Surely I must be the best river.
The two continued to argue until one day, something strange and unexpected happened. The rivers rounded a bend, slid down a small falls, and suddenly saw that they were flowing towards something much bigger and greater than themselves. Here we go, on the chairs, if you will. We're going to become waterfalls flowing down into that ocean that we see on the floor. Excellent. Oh, so good. And now your job has ended and you may sit wherever you are comfortable for the rest of the story. Oh, wonderful, wonderful rivers. Up ahead of the rivers were big crashing waves and water everywhere for as far as they could see. They continued to rush faster and faster until the water from both rivers churned together into the vast and enormous ocean. Then a sound came from the sky. It came from a cloud that chuckled, ha, 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 a moment and then said, ha, now you see how foolish you have been arguing about who is the best. There is no highest and lowest. There is no greatest or least. All things are one, and all are joined together like rivers in the sea.
So let's think about this story as you go back to your daily lives. I'm sure you all know that our bodies are more than half full of water. You likely also know that all water on this earth has always been on the earth, and that every single molecule of water on earth has been all over the earth. Water doesn't need to argue, and neither should we. So, as you return to your seats with your family, try not to argue with any of them for the rest of the day, okay?
Thank you. Oh. And one of the ways we in this congregation recognize our connectedness to one another and to the broader world is by giving away our offering each and every service that we hold. We give either to an organization in the broader community or a fund that helps people in our own church. Those of you at home may give through a link that should be on your screens at home by texting, or the link is in the chat, or you can text to the number on your screen, 844-901-1779. And those of you here in the sanctuary could also text if you chose to while the beautiful music plays in just a moment, or you could get out cash or a check and be prepared to put that in the basket that we have at the back at the end of the service. Quite fittingly, our offering today goes to the Environmental Defense Fund, or EDF, to support their work finding innovative, equitable, and cost-effective solutions to environmental problems. And many of the most urgent problems in our world today involve water. EDF works with coastal communities to protect them from rising seas and storms. They help farmers and ranchers to practice sustainable land and water management. They support native tribes in protecting their water supplies. Managing increasingly scarce water supplies is crucial to maintaining the health of us all, including the health of our rivers and wildlife. So, EDF has a program that uses the latest satellite and weather station data to estimate water consumption in individual farm fields daily, monthly, and annually to help farmers manage their water use during these years of unprecedented drought. It is wonderful what EDF's wise use of science can do to preserve and protect our precious water. Thank you for giving generously to support this work, as you always do. My, how glorious was that. Thank you, Carolyn. And what a perfect song for water communion. Can you feel the river flowing in you? Delightful. We are so grateful always for the generosity of this congregation. It forms such an important part of the beautiful, connected, caretaking tapestry of love that we weave here together.
Now is, excuse me, sorry. Now is the time in our service when we hold up the great joys and sorrows that grace our lives. We place stones in the water for both the celebrations and sorrows in our hearts, making the ripples that are felt through our community. You can submit a joy or sorrow for sharing via a link in our website, uuventura.org, or a link in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV this week. And if you're new, try to sign up for that. Those received by 10 o'clock on Saturday night are shared that Sunday. I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate or memorialize, or those in need of the loving embrace of this beloved community. Please feel free to continue to add to the chat even after the silent pause has ended. Sue will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. And our special music is indeed special.
Many times I've tried to tell you, many times I've cried alone. Always I'm surprised how well you cut my feelings to the bone. Don't wanna leave you really, I've invested too much time to give you up that easy to the doubts that complicate your mind. We belong to the light, we belong to the thunder, we belong to the sound of the words we've all fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. Maybe it's a sign of weakness when I don't know what to say. Maybe I just wouldn't know what to do with my strength anyway. Have we become a habit? Do we distort the facts? Now there's no looking forward, now there's no turning back. When you say we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder, we belong to the sound of the words we've all fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. Close your eyes and try to sleep now. Close your eyes and try to dream. Clear your mind and do your best to try and wash the palate clean. We can't begin to know it, how much we really care. I hear your voice inside me, I see your face everywhere. Still you say we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder. We belong to the sound of the words we've all fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. Say we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder. We belong to the sound of the words we've all fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. We belong, we belong, we belong together.
Thank you so much to I've Seen Better Elephants, Andy, Evan, and Rob. So delightful. We belong. So let's take some quiet moments together. Meditation. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And think about how good water feels to your body. Taking a drink of cool water on a hot day, like today maybe. A refreshing swim in a lake or river or the ocean or a swimming pool. How wonderful it feels to take a hot shower in the morning or a warm bath at night. We would not be alive without all the water that is within us and around us. A silent meditation.
As we said earlier, Reverend Dana Worsnop is out of town today, though she still wanted to be a part of Water Communion today. So she recorded a lovely homily for us all. Take it away, Dana.
Hello to all joining this service from Ventura and beyond. I welcome everyone together for this annual Water Communion service. Finally back indoors with our children and youth. I so wanted to be with you all, and I'll tell you where I am in just a little bit. Yet first, I want to tell you my favorite Water Communion story. Some have heard it before. And it is, of course, a Star Trek story. It is all the more fitting at this time of year because Star Trek aired on television the first episode on September 8th, 1966. And I am pretty sure I was watching it with my two older brothers in our family room on what was at that time still a black and white television. One of my favorite Star Trek episodes is from the Next Generation series. In it, the crew of the Enterprise encounter an alien species that lives in sand and has no water required. And it takes a while, but the crew finally learns to communicate with this species through the ever-handy universal translator. Now, the humans are just as strange to the sand aliens as they are to the crew. And the name that they give the humans, as translated through the translator, comes out as ugly bags of mostly water. For it is the water in us that they see first, the most prominent. Our bodies are, after all, 60% water. So I welcome you all of you magnificent, ugly bags of mostly water. Welcome to this service today and to our ritual. As you see this, I am in Portland, Oregon, where on Saturday, I attended the memorial service for my own minister and mentor, the Reverend Rob Eller Isaacs. I have spoken to you a great deal of late about Rob and his co-minister and wife, the Reverend Jan Eller Isaacs. I was able to see them both at General Assembly in Portland in June. And it was clear that by then, Rob's cancer diagnosis was well advanced, and he died just a few weeks later. Rob and Jan are the two who taught me almost everything I know about sharing the ministry with the lay folk of the church. I am so grateful to the worship associates and the whole tech team who share this particular ministry, who all but insisted that I attend Rob's service. They could handle the water communion themselves just fine. And if I could record a message, all the better. So here I am. Shared ministry can indeed be powerful. We love and support one another, and we have each other's backs, for which I am very grateful. It was a water communion service ritual that convinced me years ago that I was a UU. It was the first time I had ever realized that it ever really sunk all the way in, that all the water on earth today is all the water that has ever been on the earth. And every molecule of water has been everywhere on earth at some point. This truth was made so real for me when Rob said that Sunday that in our gathered water, there were almost certainly molecules from the water that once watered the Bodhi tree, where the Buddha experienced enlightenment, and also were in the tears that Jesus wept. Buddha and Jesus held as equally significant exemplars of a spiritual life. That was it. I was converted. Hallelujah. For it is water that connects all life. Every living thing on earth lives with and by this shared water. We belong to the water. We cannot live without it. The water we share with all living things, all life on our planet, keeps us all alive. And for us, Living in a land experiencing drought makes it starkly clear. If it weren't already so, it becomes so deeply clear how precious water is. We need to use it wisely. We need to save all that we can. And so may we gaze in awe at all the magnificent forms water takes in ocean, icicle, blankets of snow. May we listen to the sounds that it makes, crashing waves, the patter of rain on the roof, the sweet trickle from a mountain stream or even a garden hose. May we remember with gratitude how water feels on and in our bodies, the cool refreshment of diving in or just paddling along the surface, the refreshment of an icy glass of water on a hot day, the comfort of a warm bath after a long day. Water is the most precious substance we know. In honoring the waters and the places we have experienced its beauty, its refreshment, its inspiration, we also honor our interdependence with each other and all the earth, the round blue boat planet that is our home. We belong to the water. We belong to each other. May you hold both of these truths as you now enter into our water communion ritual. Amen. May it be so, and see you very soon.
We now come to the time in the service when we create a concrete or a liquid example of the deeper truth that we are truly one. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in our communion litany. Your part is easy, just a single line. We welcome the waters and all who gather here. And the words are sort of on the screen.
Yep. Say them again, Sandy.
We welcome the waters and all who gather here. Okay.
Like streams flowing into one another, their waters gathering deeper and stronger as they flow to the sea, so too we gather again in this community that we might grow deeper and stronger together.
We welcome the waters and all who gather here. Like the stones in the river that abide through storm and turmoil, that arise steady and secure, may we gather in strength that overcomes fear. We welcome the waters and all who gather here.
So that we might be reminded that we are not alone, that there is a place where we are welcomed and wanted, where we can find the joy of water playing upon rock.
May we...
On the water and all who gather here.
I'm sorry, it says something completely different in the script.
Oh.
So that we might find once more the inspiration and sustenance we need to carry on. We welcome the waters and all who gather here. Let us merge.
That's all right, Sandy. Together, let us merge the waters and gather the stones that sustain a living community of hope and change, of blessing and transformation.
We welcome the waters and all who gather here. Okay, so we're gonna do a little choreography here. And I want you all to think back, or those who haven't experienced it, just lean on somebody who can do this. Remember graduation. We had exchange students and they practiced for like 8 hours to walk in lines and then come back. So I'm calling this the center aisle. You guys, in these two sections, you're going to face your backs to the center aisle. And from front to back, you're going to proceed up here, put a little bit of your water in the very tall one with the stones, and then proceed up the center aisle and back to your seats, hopefully more or less in order. The main thing is, this is teamwork. Nobody's going to step on anybody, push or shove. This is a community. Yeah, you can do the, da 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 da, anything you want, but safely come up, dump, go back, and proceed. Are we ready? We are ready. Okay, let's do it. I think we did that. Okay, so this water becomes the congregation's holy water, blessed simply in the merging of everybody's waters together. And if you brought a lot of water, usually you're just going to put a little bit in. Some of the water we gathered last year is already in the vessel. While we do this, we will also have a slideshow of photos and places people collected water this year. You ready? And if you didn't bring any water, there's water there that you can just put in the bucket. And if you don't feel like coming up, you can just sit and enjoy the whole thing. And those of you on Zoom, I don't know what to tell you to do. Simply sit and watch and see if we choreograph this well. All right, take it away. You guys this way, you guys this way. That's it, come on. You guys, come up. We'll see. I'm thinking maybe the people who come from this side can go around and back. You guys figure it out. Anybody who hasn't gone, now's your chance. Thanks to you all. May these merged waters serve to remind us throughout this new church year of our deep connections to one another and to the web of life of which we are a part.
All righty. Please join me in our closing hymn, Lean on Me, Rise in Body or Spirit. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Woo.
All right. Exciting way to bring this to a close here. So, please join me in reading the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we are together again. So after the benediction and postlude, those of you joining us via Zoom or YouTube, well, Zoom, I guess, will be invited into breakout rooms so you can be with one another in conversation. In a virtual coffee hour, those of you here, of course, are invited outside our back doors for coffee conversation, and there recently have been bagels. I'm guessing there will be today as well. And remember that Sandy will be there in Berg Hall to help you if you want to donate something to the auction and want an easy way to do that. And for those of you who have funds or check to put in for our offering today, the basket is there at the back. So I leave you with these words from Reverend Kok Hong McNaughton. I am but a drop of water. Alone, I would disappear, dried up by the scorching sun, or sucked up by the dry, thirsty earth. But together we can wear out stones, carve out the Grand Canyon, make streams and rivers, and find our way to the sea. Go forth in love, go forth in peace. May it be so.